This is not your car! You stole it!
This is my car!
Imagine stepping out of your house, opening your garage, and getting ready to take your Lamborghini out for the first time in weeks. When your HOA president comes sprinting across the street, accusing you of stealing your own car. Not because she saw a crime. Not because anything was wrong, but because you're a black man, and she decided someone like you couldn't possibly own something that nice. The sun was barely up when Miles Bishop stepped into his garage, coffee in hand, ready to enjoy a rare moment of peace. Miles worked from home, software security consultant, good money, quiet life, never caused anyone trouble. He'd moved into Ridgewood Crest just 3 months ago, a place he thought would be peaceful, fair, normal. He was wrong. Because 2 months after he moved in, Deborah Cranston became HOA president. And from the moment she took that position, Miles felt her eyes on him, watching, judging, trying to catch him doing something wrong. She never spoke to him with warmth, only suspicion, only control, only that look, the one that said you don't belong here. But Miles ignored her. He worked, he minded his business, he stayed in his lane. He barely left the house, he didn't party, he didn't blast music, and he hardly ever drove. Once a month, maybe, he took his car out. Today was that day. He pressed the garage button and the door rolled upward, revealing what Deborah had never seen. A crimson-red Lamborghini Urus, glossy, clean, V12 growl quiet under the hood, worth more than Deborah's house. Miles stepped inside and started the engine. It purred, smooth, effortless power. He had earned it. Every late night, every contract, every line of code written until his eyes burned. But the sound was enough. Across the street, Deborah's head snapped up. She dropped her morning smoothie. Then she stormed across the lawn, jaw clenched, eyes wide, outrage already boiling. "You! Hey, you!" she snapped, pointing at him like he was an intruder. "Where did you get that car?" Miles blinked. "Morning, it's mine." No, I know what cars cost. Someone like you doesn't own a Lamborghini. Someone like you." There it was, not even subtle. Miles tried again. Calm, polite. "I bought it last year. I don't drive much, but..." She cut him off, screaming now. "Stop lying. I've been watching you. You barely leave the house. You don't go anywhere. People like you don't just buy these cars. People like..." But she was already pulling out her phone. "I'm calling 911 right now." Miles exhaled slowly. "Ma'am, it's my car. Have you ever been judged just for owning something nice? What would you do if a neighbor saw your success and called the police because of your skin color? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe racism has no place in any neighborhood, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because standing up to abuse of power starts with telling the truth. Deborah's voice rose into full panic theater. "Help! There's a black man with a stolen Lamborghini. No weapon, no threat, just skin, just existence. And a garage door that shouldn't have mattered." It didn't take long. 2 squad cars rolled into Ridgewood Crest with sirens off, lights pulsing quietly, not rushing, not panicked, just responding, like professionals. Miles kept both hands visible, leaning casually on the hood of his car. Calm, controlled, innocent. Deborah, however, was vibrating with rage and victory. "There! That's him!" she shrieked before the doors even opened. "Arrest him, I told you! He stole that car!" The first officer stepped out, composed, assessing. Not buying a word, she said. The second, a younger cop, scanned Miles, then the Lamborghini, then Deborah, then Miles again, already putting the pieces together. "Ma'am," the older officer said, "we haven't even spoken to him yet." Deborah ignored him. "He's lying. He doesn't have a job. He sits at home all day pretending. I've lived here for 5 years. I know who belongs here and who doesn't." There it was, the truth. Miles didn't flinch. The officer approached him respectfully. "Sir, do you live here?" "Yes, officer. Miles Bishop, I own the house. And the vehicle?" "Yes, fully paid. Registration and insurance in the glove box. Would you like to see them?" "Please." Miles opened the door slowly. No sudden moves. No tension. Just facts. He handed over the paperwork, registration with his name, VIN match, insurance card, title. The older cop glanced through it. Quick, practiced, experienced. Everything lined up. He nodded to his partner. "It's all valid." Deborah's face twisted. No, it's not." He forged it. "These people have ways of..." "Ma'am," the officer said sharply, tone changing, authority settling in. "Stop." She blinked, shocked. "Stop," she repeated. "Stop! He's a criminal!" "No," the officer said, eyes cold now. "He's a homeowner with legal documentation. You made a false report." Deborah's mouth fell open. "That car is worth more than I make in a year. There's no way he—" "Ma'am," the second officer cut in, "you're judging him because he's black. That's racial harassment." That shut her up, not because she felt shame, but because someone finally said it out loud. The older officer turned back to Miles. "Mr. Bishop, would you like to press charges?" Miles didn't raise his voice. He didn't rant. He didn't curse. He simply said, "Yes, I would, and that's not all." He pointed toward her house. "She's been abusing her power as HOA president for months. I have proof." And suddenly, this wasn't a call about a car. It was the beginning of an investigation. The officers didn't leave. Not yet. Because when Miles said the words, "I have proof," everything shifted. The younger cop pulled out a notebook. The older one crossed his arms, listening now, really listening. "Go on," he said. Miles kept his voice steady. "Ever since she became HOA president, she's been targeting me. Fake violations, harassing emails, fines for things that don't exist. She walks past my house 3-4 times a day taking pictures. I installed cameras because I had to." The officer nodded slowly. "Do you have documentation?" Miles lifted his phone. Everything saved, emails, letters, violation notices, dated, time-stamped. Deborah's voice cracked into pure denial. "He's lying. I'm just enforcing the rules." The officer didn't even look at her. "What rules?" he asked Miles. Miles smiled, the kind of smile that comes right before a checkmate. "I pulled the bylaws, the things she's citing me for, not even in the HOA codes. She's making them up." That got their attention, and Deborah knew it. Her face suddenly drained of confidence, then rage, then fear. "You can't prove," Miles interrupted, still calm. "I also spoke to neighbors. I'm not the only one she's been extorting." The younger officer glanced up. "Extorting?" "Oh, yes," Miles said. "Fines for imaginary rule violations, threats of liens, demanding payment in cash or Zelle." Deborah finally snapped. "That's HOA business. You people don't understand how communities work." The older cop turned fully toward her. "Ma'am, misuse of HOA authority is a crime. You're dealing with financial law now, not neighborhood gossip." Deborah stepped back, stumbling, shook her head. No, I've done nothing wrong." But cracks were showing everywhere. The officers called it in, not to respond to a car thief, but to begin an official HOA fraud inquiry. Within 48 hours, county auditors were involved. HOA finances were frozen, Deborah was suspended, board members were subpoenaed. The truth spilled fast. Deborah had been using HOA funds to pay her personal credit cards, paying for salon and spa visits, sending money to her divorce attorney, writing checks to maintenance companies that didn't exist, threatening homeowners who questioned her games. Over $40,000 missing in 2 months. Caught. Exposed. Cornered. Deborah tried one last desperate move. She claimed, "It's all a misunderstanding," but the bank statements didn't misunderstand. Neither did the police. A warrant was issued. And this time, Deborah couldn't call 911. She was the one being arrested. Deborah was arrested on her own front lawn. No warning. No sympathy. Handcuffs. Miranda rights. Neighbors watching. The same neighbors she'd bullied, threatened, and controlled. She screamed the whole way, "This is a mistake. I am the HOA. I run this community." Not anymore. Police charged her with embezzlement, HOA fund theft, fraudulent financial activity, filing a false police report, racial harassment. At the courthouse, the evidence was brutal. Bank statements, fake invoices, Zelle transfers to her personal account, HOA checks written to her lawyer, screenshots of racist emails she thought she deleted. Her own board members testified against her. The judge didn't hold back. "You abused power. You targeted a resident because he was black. You weaponized the law. Then you stole from every family you swore to represent." Deborah's sentence, 5 years in state prison. Restitution, $74,000. Banned from all HOA positions for life. If you believe no one should be treated like a criminal just for succeeding, then hit that like button and let this story remind the world that racism has consequences.